Welcome to NFTE's targeted seminar on NFTE assessment and how to administer. The purpose of this targeted session is to describe what NFTE's knowledge assessments measure, how we assess student progress, and review how to administer these assessments to ensure accurate data and results. The NFTE program, just like other classes, relies on standard assessments to prepare our students to successfully complete a project, in our case, a business plan, and more importantly, to be successful learners. Assessments offer you as instructors the ability to check for comprehension and assess points to reteach, evaluate what students learned in a unit in a more standardized approach, illustrate the benefits of the course to your school leaders in a more familiar format. By showing assessment results to your administrators, you show how you're preparing students not only for the NFTE program, but also for all school learning. And finally, and probably most importantly for you, as a NFTE instructor, it helps you determine the impact of the program on your students. For NFTE, this is especially important as it helps us identify areas for improvement in curriculum, training, and the overall program. So how do we assess the impact of the NFTE program? NFTE assesses 3 impact milestones or areas: entrepreneurial knowledge, entrepreneurial mindset, and college and career readiness. To assess these areas, we use traditional assessments, pre- and post-attitudinal surveys, and of course, the business plan as the ultimate demonstration of how entrepreneurial knowledge and the entrepreneurial mindset can come together to help better prepare our students for their futures. On this webinar, we will focus specifically on content knowledge assessments. Here's how NFTE's entrepreneurial knowledge assessments flow. Students start with a baseline or diagnostic assessment, ideally administered the first day or week of classes. The diagnostic assessment focuses on applied learning and includes scenario-based multiple-choice questions. Second are the NFTE experiential activity rubrics. These are often underutilized, but are designed to support overall content learning objectives. In addition, they are great to assess skills like creativity, problem-solving, collaboration, and communication. Third are performance tasks. Performance tasks are formative assessments that include 2 to 3 questions that are great reviews to use as spot checks. Fourth are unit assessments. Unit assessments are used as a summative for the unit. NFTE offers 4 unit assessments, 1 for each unit of learning. In addition to the unit assessments, NFTE provides business plan rubrics for both the written and presentation business plans. Once you teach a unit, you can have students complete the corresponding business plan section and assess. The final step is the summative assessment. The summative is the same test as the diagnostic and is used to assess knowledge gained throughout the program. This should be administered at the end of instruction. In the next slides, we will focus on the diagnostic, formative, unit, and summative assessments. We'll describe the instruments, where you can find them, and how to administer them. The diagnostic and the summative assessments are requirements for every student in the NFTE program to take. These assessments should only be administered in class and completed individually by each student. The assessment tool includes 27 multiple-choice questions and is scenario-based around a young entrepreneur named Cheng. Students help Cheng with steps related to completing her business plan. All the questions on this assessment are aligned to the learning objectives that students need to know in order to complete the NFTE program and the business plan. The diagnostic assessment should be administered the first week of classes, and ideally within the first few days if possible. We ask for this so that we can get a true baseline that isn't influenced by any classroom instruction. The summative assessment should be completed the last day of instruction, not the final day of classes. Here we want to make sure that students complete the assessment so they have a baseline to compare to a summative. If you wait too long to the end of the semester, your students may miss taking the assessment. You can access and administer the diagnostic and summative assessments at www.nfte.com/assessments. Although the assessments are the same, you want to make sure that when your students are taking the assessments, that they select diagnostic at the beginning of the program and summative at the end. Doing these assessments online will get you results faster while supporting NFTE's data collection efforts. The performance tasks are formative assessments, and as we mentioned earlier, are great spot checks for when you're teaching new concepts. Like the diagnostic and the summative, these assessments are scenario-based, where students apply their understanding to a concept to help other young entrepreneurs. These 2 to 3 question tasks review key concepts and give you, the instructor, a great gauge for remediation. Based on student results, NFTE provides suggestions on whether you need to remediate and how. Although optional and designed for your instruction, we highly recommend these performance tasks, particularly in units where students need extra practice, like market research and financials. You can find these assessments in the digital program guide or on NFTE Connect. We recommend using these assessments in class only. And since NFTE does not collect this data, these assessments are paper-based. The unit assessments are great short summatives designed to ensure that students are ready to move on to the next unit of learning. Each of the 4 unit assessments includes 14 questions that focus on key concepts students need to know to complete sections of the written business plan. Like the diagnostic and performance tasks, the unit assessments are multiple choice, but blend scenario-based with traditional knowledge-based questions. These assessments are optional, but teachers who use them find them very helpful to provide grades by unit and for the course. You can administer these online or by paper. The value of using the online assessments is that NFTE does the work for you and grades them. To administer online, you can go to www.nfte.com/assessments, just where you would find the diagnostic and the summative assessments. To access paper versions and answer keys, you can go to NFTE Connect or the digital program guide. Depending on how you decide to use the unit assessment, you can have students do these in class like a traditional test or quiz, or have them do them as homework, as take-home review. Here's a quick do's and don'ts for how to administer. First, plan ahead. If you don't have easy access to computers, book your computer lab today for all online assessments. It's especially important to ensure you have computer time scheduled for the required diagnostic and summative assessments. Consider how long it will take your students to complete these assessments. In general, they should take about 1 class period each. To help you plan ahead, NFTE provides a pacing guide that includes suggestions for when to use all of our assessments. Second, test your technology systems and links before the day of administration. Nothing is more frustrating than having something not work when your students are ready to go. Check that you can access the assessments and that your internet connection works the week you plan to administer. This will allow time to troubleshoot with your school and NFTE. Third, for required assessments, all students must complete their assessments during class time. If students need more than 1 class period to complete the diagnostic or the summative assessments, please notify your program staff for assistance. Doing these assessments during class time will help you ensure that all students take the required assessments in a proper testing environment. And lastly, we want to be sure that students take these assessments seriously. Some teachers choose to give students participation grades to show them the importance of the assessments. But what's important to do is explain to your students that the NFTE assessment is like any other assessment, and they should do their own work, read directions, make educated guesses, and sit quietly after they've completed their assessments. Assessments are a part of the NFTE program, just like every other class, and putting this in context for our students is important. These assessments are designed to help support their learning to develop their business plans, and are just a small part of the overall NFTE experience. You'll want to reserve your computer lab as soon as possible. Third, as a follow-up to this seminar, we have developed a second professional development on using assessment data for instruction. You can access this link on your PD schedule. And finally, if you have any additional questions, contact your program staff for additional support. Thank you for listening to this webinar on NFTE Assessment Administration. We hope you found it and the tools we provide useful in preparing your students for success in the NFTE program.